in your Social Security and all your assets just to go for Medicare to take care of it.
And you lose a lot of control when it comes to that, right? Like, you don't get to pick where you're going to go. It's you go where you go.
No, you go where you go. I mean, it's just where it is. People we work with, we have a young lady that we work with. If you are looking to, scout a nursing home, or we have somebody come in and we'll give you, it's like a brochure. You can walk in, you can pick which home you want to go to, why you want to go there. You like these amenities, not these amenities, and you'll know what you're paying monthly before you walk in the door.
This is Planning for the Future with our guest, Brendon Murphy. To get a free copy of Brendon's book, call 610-247-2320. That's 610-247-2320.
If you ask every person where they would want to spend their golden years and their olden years, or, if they had to go, where would you want to go? A nursing home facility, or would you rather stay at home? I think 90% of people would like to stay at home, right? And if I said, what asset would you like to liquidate to help pay for that? What would you say, Brent? What would be your answer?
I guess, my first answer would be like, how do I use maybe interest in my home, or, equity in my home?
Sure, you could do that also. You could sell down the house, but if you want to stay in your home, you might not want to do that. You might want to use a portion of a 401k, because that's what most people have nowadays. Most people don't have pensions. They're not lucky enough anymore.
Right.
90% of companies have eliminated pensions.
Oh,
so it's
yeah.
It's all 401k, 403b, TSP, depending on the government plan, and you're looking at it. And if you're not looking at the cost of what it's going to cost when you're at that age, I mean, as much as you want to say that your children are going to take care of you, do you think your children are really going to take care of you, or they have the time to, because they have to work and raise their families?
Right. And, it's not the days of, when I was growing up, you'd see multi-generations in the same home. Like, say, when mom and dad got older, they would come back and live with the kids, and, the dads worked and the moms more stayed home, and, they took care of, grandma and grandpa who lived there with us,
Absolutely.
And you don't see that anymore. I guess a lot of that has to do with, with families being more all over the country nowadays, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Like, growing up, grandma and grandpa were an hour away, maybe at the most, over the river and through the woods to grandmother's house we go. That's where you were. Now you got to get on the plane, take another Uber to grandmother's house we go.
Yeah, they're all in Florida, they're in Arizona, they're in California, living their best life. And now we either have to move them back home or move there to take care of them, and it just doesn't work anymore. I look at my mother-in-law, or my mother-in-law's mom, who recently passed away last year. She was 93 years old. She lived in a home for 10 years, and she lived her best life there. She was at a big house by herself in Connecticut. Her daughter, who's my mother-in-law, had to drive there once every 2 weeks, and her brother was there every other week, and then the other brother lived in St. Louis, so it was tough for him to get there. So they would take turns rotating to go up and spend the weekends with them. I mean, one lived in New York, one lives right outside Philadelphia, and they had to do that the whole time until she went to the home. And she properly planned, her and her husband, with life insurance, had money, 401k money put away that they used for long-term care, and she was taken care of and never wanted for anything in her life, and then still left assets to her family, which is an amazing story. And she left money to all her kids, and she never wanted for a day in her life.
Wow. That is someone who had everything planned out right. All their ducks were in a row.
Every I was dotted, every T was crossed in that scenario. But it doesn't always happen like that, and you would like to see it happen more and more. And if we could help at least, one person a day figure it out, then we know that we're doing something right if we can help them.
And, here's another scenario that I tend to see more nowadays, that the kids have more money than the parents did. As far as, the way jobs are, the way things are, you had that greatest generation who, had that 25 years in the gold watch till retirement type thing. But now you have the kids may have more money than the parents. So
absolutely,
the parents don't necessarily have to worry about putting money away for the kids as much anymore. So you'll see the kids saying, you know what, go live your best life. Do whatever you want to do. Don't worry about us. We'll be fine. Just, take your money and live your life.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially if you can use your money to set yourself up in case you do need long-term care, because 70% of Americans at some point in the future will need some type of long-term care. But if you don't use it, you don't lose it like in the days of the past. So why not prepare now? And really at the end, if you're not going to use it, it will go to your beneficiaries, even though they might not need their money, but you could leave it to the grandkids or, the church or whoever you'd like to leave it to.
Right. Yeah. So I'm the youngest of 9, and my dad died when I was very young, but my mom went through and she planned pretty well, especially for what she did. She didn't really go back into the workforce until my dad passed away, and she did some smart things. So she had money to do what she wanted to do the last good years of her life, and we all knew that with 9 of us, she was not rich. She was not rich by any means. So, but she had enough money to do some fun things. She loved to travel and go on cruises. So that's what she did. And she always said, well, I want to be able to make sure that you guys have something. We're like, there's 9 of us. Okay. Even if you give us anything, it's not going to be that much.
Exactly. I'm one of 6. I get it. I'm the oldest of 6, so I totally understand.
Yeah.
And I see how my parents, how we grew up and how they both work both jobs, and we were lucky enough to have our grandparents in the house taking care of us during the day when they were working.
Right.
So I totally understand.
Yeah. Once you split that pie up 9 ways or 6 ways, not everybody gets a big piece. So take that pie and use it and go on cruises. And that was that was her favorite thing. She would come back and we all had to, if you talk to her, she'd tell you all the stories, and, since there was 9 of us, she couldn't remember who the heck she told the story to. So the next time you called her, she would tell you the same story, but she loved it. She was happy doing that. And then finally, when she had to go into, her long-term care, she was set there as well. She wasn't in one of those, little dingy nursing homes with, 4 people in a room, things like that. She was in, a comfortable one. It wasn't the high end one like a spa, and it wasn't the low end one, but it was a comfortable one where, we knew that it was clean. She was well taken care of, and she wasn't unhappy about it. So
that's great.
Because she did plan the best that she could with what she had. And that's a big thing too. You don't have to have $1 billion to be able to plan and make your life at least comfortable.
Absolutely not. That is absolutely correct, Brendon. You don't need $1 million to make your life comfortable at that time. You could use a small percentage. People would be flabbergasted if they even knew what the number was. And that's what we like to show them. Hey, if you use this small percentage of money to move this over to do this is what you'll get in the back end. People are shocked that it didn't take that much money to do. And if they would have paid regular long-term care premiums, it would have cost them probably twice as much.
Wow. Yeah. And that is a pleasant surprise when it comes down to all that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So you're out of Philadelphia. Is there anything, what makes Philadelphia different as a market?
Philadelphia is its own interesting counties by, county. I mean, you have the city, which is great. You have the suburbs, which are, where I grew up. But you get to go in the city, you get to do all these fun things. And we try to go all over the place. We talk to so many different people in this area, and they all come from different backgrounds. I mean, not right now. We're getting a lot of people moving down from New York. A lot of people from New York are coming down. you see all these different people coming in and different needs. It's pretty much a home place. I think, Brent, I think you're in St. Louis right now. I mean, it's people that grew up here and then they end up living 3 towns away. So everyone knows everyone. And, when you do the job that you're supposed to do for them, they talk to you about it.
Yeah. It is. It always seemed to me as being one of those real family-oriented towns.
Sports crazy, though. I mean, Eagles, Phillies, Flyers, and the Sixers. But, it's really people care about the people that are here. We always get a bad rap for the Santa Claus and, throwing snowballs at Santa Claus or any of that stuff that they like to bring up 3 times, on ESPN or whatever you'd like. And the other thing I'd like to talk about is Philly cheesesteaks. When you're out and about in other parts of the world, Philly cheesesteaks do not have green peppers and mushrooms on them. They just have cheese and onions. That's it.
That's
it.
Wit, right? You say wit whiz?
It's whip, yeah.
Yeah.
Whiz whip. Yep.
Wit whiz.
And that's with onions or without, whatever you like to say.
Right.
But nowhere in America, if you come to Philadelphia, will you find a cheesesteak with green peppers and or mushrooms on it, unless you add it on there. Everything is either cheese or onions, and then some kind of hot pepper if you want it. And then you put that on yourself.
But and this is what I've heard, it's either with cheese whiz, or can you do like the provolone type cheese?
You can do provolone, American, or whiz, whatever you like.
And what's the best?
It just depends on where you get it, but usually most people like the whiz. But I like the variations. I try to change it up every other time I get one.
Well, I feel
you always get it with the onions though.
Nice, yeah, I get that. So and I feel you because being from Chicago, we have our Italian beefs, the Chicago beef.
Yeah, there's nothing like that anywhere else.
Yeah. You can try, and people be like, "Oh, here's a beef sandwich," and they give you a French dip. Like, it's okay. It's not the same thing.
No, absolutely not.
You want that?
It's not. It's definitely not the same thing.
Yeah. And what happens?
I've been to Chicago. I've had that sandwich. It's not the same anywhere else.
Exactly. What happens when you go somewhere and then you tell them you're from Philly, and they're like, "Oh, you should try our cheesesteak," and they bring you out one of those with the peppers and the mushrooms?
I was like, no, thank you. No, thank you. I just no, thank you. I'm there to try like. What's St. Louis? St. Louis's barbecue, correct? Isn't that like the big? That the big St. Louis?
St. Louis's barbecue and Italian food and like toasted ravioli is one of the things that I had no idea about until I came here.
I would try that. Like that's what I would go for. I would rather just try your staples, and then you kind of know where you are. I think you just leave it to where you are when it comes to the specialty items.
So I come to Philly. Mm-hmm. Which place is it? Gino's that I'm going to, or do you have another one?
Absolutely not. You're not going to Gino's or Pat's. I mean, if you want to, just for the aura, because you've seen it on TV 100 times, it's great. You're actually going to go to either one. John's Roast Pork. John's Roast Pork makes pork sandwiches, which is another staple of Philadelphia. I don't know if you know that.
I've seen that. I've seen that.
The pork with the broccoli rabe and the provolone cheese, which is unbeatable. But their cheesesteaks are simply out of this world. Might be probably the best cheesesteak we have here. But everyone just knows Gino's and Pat's.
All right. I mean, well, I'm gonna hit you up.
We'll definitely go.
Yeah, if I come to Philly, I'll hit you up and we'll go get some cheesesteaks. Okay.
It's a little shack. It's the best part about it.
That's the best ones. The little shacks always have the best stuff, and probably a line outside the door.
Always.
Well, Brendon, it has been an absolute pleasure. Everybody needs to get a copy of your book, Tax-Free Money for Long-Term Care. Let everybody know how else they can get a hold of you.
Oh, well, you can reach me on my office number. It's 610-449-9900, or even on my cell phone at 610-247-2320. More than happy to take your calls and answer any questions you'd like. We could do it right now in these fun times that we're in. We can do it through Zoom or FaceTime if you'd like. Over the phone is fine also. If you're not scared, we're also still taking meetings if you'd like.
All right. Well,